So if you start off by saying, the world is coming to an end, it's going to be over soon, let me explain this. Okay, I'm tuning out. Because what you're trying to lead me to, I don't want to go there. Not interested. Anyway, so how do we know the good news from the bad news? Because everything is called news. And it's treated the same way.
Even the information about the Torah, we can call that news as well.
There's the right news and there's the bad news. Because, the blessing of freedom of expression means you can share all your knowledge. It also means you can share all your narishkeit, all your foolishness. So one thing is for sure. You don't want people's personal character to influence the news or Judaism. So if you're listening to someone and their character is coming across rather than the information, in other words, their personality overwhelms the message, then you have to be careful. Then it's like you like the person or you don't like the person. That's what it's asking for. So when a person puts his personality on the screen, he's not asking you to agree or disagree. He's asking you to like him or hate him. It's a very different appeal. And then you end up either loving him or hating him. Because that's what he's asking for, or she's asking for. So when somebody's personality dominates, the subject, the topic, the discussion, not important. It's submerged by the personality. The other thing is, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if something doesn't sound right to you, then it doesn't matter who is saying it. You have to think twice. Because the Torah should sound comfortable to you. If it's Torah, if it's the truth, and it's your Torah, the one that you received at Mount Sinai, the one that your soul heard, it should feel familiar and it should feel comfortable. Maybe not easy. Easy is not even a virtue. But it shouldn't feel objectionable. So if something is disturbing you about what you're hearing, be careful and think twice. Re-examine. So trust your instinct to tell you when something is a little off. So think about it. You may be right, you may be wrong, but it certainly needs investigation. The point is, education is not indoctrination. So if you don't really understand it and you don't really appreciate it and it doesn't speak to you, then that's not called learning. To learn means you hear it, you absorb it, you digest it, and it sits well with you. That's called educated.
Rabbi Friedman, but how come some people can relate to certain teachers and then even getting the same information, but from some other teachers it feels a little better?
Yeah, and one person cannot be everybody's teacher unless it's Mashiach himself. The greatest feature of Mashiach is that he will be able to address everybody, not by speaking in generalities, but somehow, supernaturally almost, he will appeal to everyone's intelligence and everyone's thinking and everyone's intuitive. So there are people who thrive on simplicity. And sometimes People say, well, you want all the simple answers. Yes, some people are simple. This is not a criticism. It's a personality type. They're simple. They don't like complication. They don't like overly sophisticated things. They want to keep things earthy, simple, and true. Simple is closer to true. And that's fine. That's wonderful. And there are those teachers or those rabbis or those educators who are that way. And so certain people will thrive from their teaching. Other people are more philosophical. They want to know the why, the how come. Some people are more skeptical. They want to know, how do you know that? Why do you say that? What about that's how they learn, and that's fine too. And that's why even Moshe had to appoint 70 elders, every one of them different from the other, so that there were 70 languages in which Torah was being taught. Not literal languages, but like the 5 love languages. So Torah needs 70 love languages for 70 different types of minds, of hearts, of people. And the internet can handle more than 70. There are more than 70. The question is only, is it the real thing? Is it the real thing? Or is it a personality cult?
That's the scary part, because a lot of the people will tune in or search without knowing absolutely anything. And they will not know if it's a personality or is it the real deal.
Yeah. That's what we have intelligence for. Unfortunately, we need to be intelligent. If only that weren't necessary, things would be so much simpler. But I had a teacher who was really a great person, a great individual. The way he taught was so different because most people think this way and teach this way. You start with a thought, an idea. You develop the idea until you come to a conclusion. But this teacher did the opposite. First, he gave us the conclusion and then filled in the details. There's a certain drama to that approach. It's more like, let's get to the truth instead of let me convince you. If I start with the ideas and I build them, like, there has to be a creator because where did everything come from? So let's pursue that. That's very neutral and safe, and everybody can follow. Then you come to a conclusion, and people say, "Oh, no, I don't want to come to that conclusion." Or you start with the conclusion. You start with the conclusion, I am here to fulfill the mitzvahs of the Torah. That's it, no surprises. That's what I'm going to tell you by the end of this conversation. That's the point I'm going to. If you're not interested, you can quit now. And some people will quit. But you see, that approach is like saying, we need to get to the truth, not I'm going to try to convince you of something. If we need to get to the truth, I'm going to tell you which truth I'm headed for. I tell you where I want to end up. Then we can talk about how to get there. What's the logic that leads there? What's the basis for it? And you make a complete concept or philosophy. to support the truth that you've already established. See, then there's no gimmicks. So if you start off by saying, the world is coming to an end, it's going to be over soon, let me explain this. Okay, I'm tuning out. Because what you're trying to lead me to, I don't want to go there. Not interested. So if a person were to say, every sinner will suffer punishment, you want to talk about it? No, not particularly. You woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something? What's wrong with you? Why would you want to talk about how everybody's going to suffer? So if that's the conclusion, I don't want to take the trip.
Rabbi Friedman, but how come there are so many different interpretations from reliable sources about a single topic of the Torah, any topic of the Torah? Is that healthy in our times? I mean, I'm not asking if it's right or wrong, but is it healthy? Because it makes a lot of people question, well, how come you have this perspective and this person has this perspective? Why are there so many perspectives in the Torah, in understanding the Torah?
There's something very good about that. Torah is, so what's happening is, they're not asking themselves, what is the story trying to say? Somebody wrote the Torah, right? The author is trying to say something. Are you interested in understanding what the author is trying to say? Or are you just having a trigger reaction on your favorite topic? So you're not hearing anything at all. You might as well not have a Bible, because you're already a feminist, and all you're going to see in the Torah is feminism. So if there's a one-track mind, then yeah, it's not the Torah speaking. It's the personality of the individual. But the fact that there are so many different interpretations, that is the beauty of Torah. God spoke, and everybody heard something divine, and yet not the same. Because divinity comes in infinite forms. That's what we mean. God is infinite. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal. It's questions and answers. It's conversation. It's really relaxed. It's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us. Take a look. Click the link below and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.